Howdy folks, I got my 1851 Navy Colt loaded up with homemade percussion caps. I got it loaded with loose powder and ball. I'm using American Pioneer Powder 3FG and haven't had very good luck with these homemade caps so far. I've even upped the amount of compound I've put in them, still having a bunch of misfires, really not working good at all, but I've been using paper cartridges. So we're going to try it with loose powder. Maybe it's just not got enough spark to get through the paper. We're going to find out. So if I got to shoot them with loose powder and ball, that's fine. I load that way sometimes anyway. See what happens. All right, that's more like it. I've been struggling out here all morning trying to get this thing to go off and having a bunch of non-success. So I guess if you're gonna get these, it's a loose powder and ball only type of deal. I've gotten, out of the 12 shots I've tried, or 12 loads, 2 cylinders full I've had in this with paper cartridges, I got 6 of them to go off with using probably 20 some caps trying to get that many to go off. So paper cartridges and homemade percussion caps don't work. Not enough to bother with anyway. But loose powder and loose ball, perfect. All 6 of them went right off just like they're supposed to. So, still a good alternative to keep shooting. I probably sound excited because I am. I've been struggling something terrible trying to get this to work with these things because you can't get percussion caps. Well, it's a good alternative and it works with loose powder. I'll load up another cylinder full and see if the other ones I made that had less oomph in them, see if those work. Alright, got another cylinder loaded up, loose powder and ball, the homemade percussion caps from the first video, the first batch I made. Let's see if these work with loose powder. Get my eye protection on. Okay, let's see what happens. That was a really weak one. I'm gonna give it a couple seconds. Try to remember to keep your finger out from the front of that cylinder too, because if it goes off gases or if you got it turned, that ball could even hit you. I had my hand in front of it the last time, and afterwards I got to thinking I shouldn't do that. And somebody even commented on the short I put up about that. So yeah, make sure you don't put your hand in front of that cylinder as much as possible. That's should be long enough to clear that cap and recap it. Again, trying to keep my hand and face away from that cylinder. So far though, 4 out of 5. I'll take it. It's a lot better than, way less than that out of 5. All right, let's see if we can get the last 2 to go off. That one didn't go off at all. Like I said, that's from the first batch I made. I did two things different with the second batch. I added more compound, and I packed them before I put the acetone and ducco cement on them. It seemed like less of the stuff was, the compound was coming off onto the matches, so therefore it kept more of it in it. So I compressed it first, then put the ducco cement. I'll use one of the newer ones when I try it next year. That one didn't even go off. I've seen one YouTube video where the guy on there, he was using copper sheeting. I guess it's a little thinner or something, and takes a little less force of the hammer to hit it to make it go off. So that might be something to invest in over at some point. All right, let's try it again. Yes! Found a way to make my gun keep shooting. So, yeah, I'd say I'll probably put a video at the end of this for anybody who's interested in how the percussion cap maker works and what my process was to make the new ones. And then you'll know and be able to keep shooting your guns. So we'll end off the video here as far as the shooting goes, and anybody who doesn't care to watch how that percussion caps were made, if you already know or whatever, then have a good one, and thanks for watching. Okay, I'm going to run you through the process of using the 22LR percussion cap maker. These are for number 10 percussion caps. First thing you got to do, you need a pair of scissors or a utility knife or something. You got to cut a pop can, cut the top and bottom off, cut down the side. It would have been like that, and then cut it into about 3/4 inch strips and run it on your table so it's not like that, so it's a little more flat. This die has a slot, and you want the shiny side up. You run the slot in there, stick this piece in. You want a poly hammer, or you can push down with your hand. It's a lot easier with the poly hammer. You can get about 60 to 70 caps out of one pop can, so a pop can that you were going to throw away anyway can get you a lot of percussion caps. That's enough for now for the demonstration. So they will build up inside there. Just dump them out. There's a little thing in there that forms them. So that's what they're going to look like. I don't know if that'll focus, but that's what they look like when they're done. So I've got a large rifle primer tray here that I put them in, and I do them every other one so they're not right next to each other, so you don't overcharge, or when you go to seal them get too much sealant on them or something. I don't do them next to each other. You could drill little holes in a block of wood if you don't reload and don't have a large rifle primer tray. This works great, but you could drill little tiny holes that are just slightly not as deep as these caps in a block of wood, and that would do the same thing. Now they come with all these components here that you gotta mix up together. It got directions on how many scoops. You got this scoop comes with it with a large side and a small side. Great directions, pretty simple. I'm not going to go into all that. I've already mixed up some. Just do a little bit at a time. Don't do it in a metal container, is what they say. So now their directions call for about 1/3 of the small scoop. I'm going to do about half, because 1/3 seemed to be a little weak, And those are the ones that I wasn't getting shots to work. Now when you first put it in there, it's going to look like you've almost filled that cap. But this stuff, when you pack it with the end of a matchstick, actually goes down quite a bit. I'll just do 3 for the sake of time. So you want one of the bigger matches, not the little tiny books, one of the ones that are, you know, bigger, like 4 or 5 inches instead of 1.5 or whatever. So they say to put your acetone on it, let it set for a while, and then pack it. Well, what I've found, when you do that, it sticks to the end of your match. I've let it sit 10 minutes, 5 minutes, half hour, whatever. It seems like half of my compound just keeps coming out of my match, and then it's not in there, and then you don't get enough spark. So I thought, well, let's tamp it down dry. You still get a little bit on the end, but not near as much. So I'm going to tamp these down dry. Okay. Now this is about 3/4 acetone and 1/4 Ducko cement. I got the Ducko cement at Ace. I also got, just a second. I got this in the paint department at Ace as well. It's just a little 16 fluid ounces is what it is. That'll last me forever. And this is the tube the Ducko cement came in, also by the paint department at Ace. You can use hairspray, I guess. I haven't tried that. Some people are using straight acetone, denatured alcohol. They got a list of, or rubbing alcohol it says, but the other YouTube videos I watched, they recommended acetone and Ducko cement seemed to be the go-to. So I mixed them up in this bottle, and I shake this before I drop it, or use the dropper, which has a dropper. This is a glass tube dropper, and you just 1 drop per cap, and then I let that sit for 24 hours. I want to make sure that it's gets in there. If it looks like part of your compound is still dry, don't worry about it too much. That will wick in. If it looks like you think, oh man, I got way too much in there, doesn't seem to matter. It all dries the same. So that's my experience so far. If I figure out more, I'll do more videos. So I'm just gonna let those sit, and 24 hours from now or whatever, they should be ready to go. So that's my new improved process at the moment, unless I figure out a better way. And thanks for watching.